Now I have the parking lights on, and the parking lights have these very bright halos. So these halos that are typically on with the headlights are very bright now. They're usually much dimmer. Then you have these lights, kind of accent lights, I suppose. But yeah, you might be able to mistake these as headlights, even with the headlights not even on. But there's also an amber side marker here in the front. But man, even these are bright. These are bright, that's bright. Tail light kind of wraps around to the side of the vehicle. This is actually the side marker, but the tail lights are visible from the side as well. Nice, sharp red LEDs back here, looking really nice. Tag lights are also on. When you put the turn signal on, it turns off that bright halo, and then now we have a amber flashing light. Now you notice on the other side, the amber light was just a side marker, but now we have that kind of that same housing here, but that has a fairly bright amber light. Turns off the daytime running light with a turn signal here. It's not turning the headlight off, just the daytime running light or the accent light there. There's also a turn signal indicator here on the side mirror. It's not visible from the front, only the side and the back. And then the turn signal back here is just a red. It just fills in the upper portion here. So yeah, red in color and fairly bright. No problem seeing that. It's in a decent position, not too low. Now there's also a third brake light at the top of the glass, and then the reverse lights are there in the center of the tail lights. LEDs, fairly bright, work well. So this is what the view looks like without the headlights on. Now let's turn on the headlights. So you can see that potentially you could think these are your headlights on. There's the headlights themselves. And we're gonna look at it while we're driving as well on a dark road. But yeah, it's basically these halos are now much dimmer. So there's the projector there in the center, and it's just a single projector, not really too excited about that. We'll see how it looks. And then you have the fog light there at the bottom. We still have these little accent lights here as well. So let's go ahead and turn off the fog lights so you can see the difference there. Fog lights are closer to the vehicle, right there. So stepping back here, I can look directly at the headlights and they're not blinding me, so standing right here. But as I dip the camera down, you'll notice this is where all the light is. About 2.5, 3 feet off the ground is where all the light's shining on the road. So above that, no problem with the headlights blinding me or anything like that. They look pretty cool with the halos and everything. Fog lights. And then this little light right here. This is fairly bright right here. Kind of helps out, especially close to the vehicle. When I first saw this cargo area during the day, I was like, man, this is going to be a disappointing experience here at night. Now it has a single dome light, which covers the back and the second row. And I was like, man, that's not going to be enough, which is not. It does have these backlit USB ports here, but it does have these little lights right here. I don't know if you can tell. Right in here, it illuminates in this area here. All my junk is in here. On this side, you might be able to tell a little bit better, sitting the case. That helps out. That little tiny light does help out a lot. It's still inadequate. I mean, it still could be a lot better. But those little tiny lights kind of just made me feel a little bit better about the whole cargo light situation, because it's almost always a disappointment, especially an off-road vehicle. You need some lights, so yeah, it's the little side lights are kind of cool, but still you can see it's like super dark in a lot of areas here. The inside of the back door, there's no pocket lights or anything like that, just a little light on the window switch, but it does have a puddle light, so you're going to see where you're going to step in when you get out of the vehicle. That's kind of cool. Now a single dome light here is shared with the cargo area, and it's pretty much inadequate in this area. The floorboard's dark, especially with black interior. You need some more lights here. It does have some USB ports that are backlit, and then of course the climate control here. But yeah, not really all that great. The inside of the front door here does have a puddle light once again, and then we have no pocket lights. We do have some backlit illumination here, no floorboard illumination, backlit buttons here. Basically here in the front, it's just the little reading lights here and black interior and backlit buttons, and that's it. There's hardly anything here. So this was what it looks like with the interior lights on. With all the black interior, not really all that great, but that's what it looks like here. You shut the door, and we're just left with backlit buttons here. So yeah, there's lots of areas here. This dark, cup holders are dark, little storage compartment there. This is dark, the center console here. Now it does have this little light right here that kind of shines down in super dark environments. It kind of helps out. Glove compartment is a little tiny light, better than nothing, but kind of surprised it has one at this point. Now the backup camera, I'm go ahead and put that on, is okay. It's not the best backup camera in the world, but you can see decent at night, especially with the reverse lights that turn on. And all the screens look okay. Nothing spectacular. It does have the HomeLink garage door opener controls, which are backlit underneath the rearview mirror here. And then you have these tap lights. They're just like interior lights here and here. You turn on all the interior lights with that button. And then the visor does have a light with a mirror. Now that kind of helps out with seeing in here. I'll turn on all the interior lights here, and that kind of helps out. Like if you need to read something, or if you need just a little bit additional light. It doesn't help in the floorboard or anything, but it could help here, and it could help here, that kind of stuff. So yeah, not a lot of lights going on in this vehicle. There's the headlight pattern on the fence. I don't know if you can tell, right in here there is a notch. It looks like 2 notches on this vehicle, and they're supposed to line up with the oncoming lane. So there's the high beams, and there's the low beams. So you can see the pattern, you can also see through the fence. Having 2 lights, one on each side, I prefer to have an additional light turn on when there's high beams. We'll see how it does. Usually these type of projector systems are a little bit disappointing. There's a deer right there on the side of the road. Hey, it's a nice full moon, looks like. Okay, so that shadow is lining up on the oncoming lane. It's a little bit like patchy though. But yeah, I guess that's just the way it is. So yeah, the low beams are looking okay. I can see close to the vehicle. And the cutoff seems to be low enough to where it's not in everybody's faces, which I think we confirmed that before. It is below, 2.5, 3 feet off the ground, something like that. So yeah, that notch, that little shadow in the oncoming lane, that's for when it's raining. The glare doesn't reflect up in people's eyes, and also just gives a little bit of a relief from the vehicle bouncing up and down and going up slight hills and stuff, keep the light from shining on the oncoming driver as much anyway. It's still going to do it sometimes depending on the lay of the road. If you're going uphill and they're up there, then it's going to be aiming at them, that kind of stuff. A lot of traffic out today. Usually this time of day and this day of the week and all that stuff is less traffic, but it seems like a lot out today. But we'll find a dark road and we'll see how these headlights work. Go super slow, and then that person's super slow too. Okay, I'll just have to stop. Okay, so there's the low beams on a dark road, and then there's the high beams. Actually, not as bad as I thought. It's a little patchy on the road, but yeah, we can see on the sides of the road fairly well. The road itself is fairly well illuminated. Let's go ahead and pull down, wait for this car to pass. So yeah, when there's cars coming, the low beams are okay. I mean, I can see on the side of the road decent, so I wonder if those little side lights are working in that way. So yeah, the distance is actually pretty good. I mean, for what we have, we just have 2 projectors. It's actually working fairly well. Kind of surprised, actually. There must be an additional light that's turning on inside that same projector, adding more light. because it does get brighter and it refocuses everything. So I can see in the distance there. Slight patchiness on the road, but I can see in the distance. And I can see on the sides of the road. I can see the trees and everything. Automatic high beams seem to work fine. Yeah, I would say they're not like spectacular headlights or anything, but they're definitely better than what I thought they were going to be. You know, with the single projector on each side. They kind of remind me of the Land Rover. Land Rover had a similar type deal with a halo and a single projector, and they were just very, very disappointing. But these are actually, you know, I'm not disappointed with them. I'm actually kind of surprised they're working well. And I had the brightness on my camera turned up quite a bit, so they might look brighter than what they actually are. But yeah, you know, they're okay.